Good morning, everyone. You're listening to another edition of Up and Atom, right here on WMUA Amherst, 91.1 FM. Keep your receivers and ears dialed in as we listen to the commercial-free radio voice of our flagship campus.
I am John Plodzik. I'm the station's general manager. I do mostly planning for events, work with our programmer a lot.
My name is Riley Bowen and I am the programmer. Basically, I'm in charge of building the schedule and taking DJs' show applications and then making sure that they follow all of the rules.
I'm Kevin Carberry, and I'm a DJ.
My name's Owen Embury. I'm a senior, so I joined the news program here, and then the following year I was hired as the news editor.
My name is Carson Cornelius. I am the advisor for WMUA. My job is helping students learn what it's like to really manage a radio station.
I'm Dan Ferreira Jr., and I'm the station's chief engineer. The chief engineer takes care of the technical aspects of the studios and transmitter facilities for the station. Everything starts here at the Student Union, room 201A typically. People do their programs from there.
Hello, you're listening to No Bad Ideas on WMUA Amherst.
We use telephone circuits, copper wires connected to the transmitter, and is broadcast out on 91.1 FM to the valley that way. The other way we broadcast is through the internet. That stays digital all the way, turns the signal into an MP3 audio stream. The number of people that can connect to the feed at any one given time is 1,000.
Our major source of funding, and that specifically takes care of our staff, that's taken care of by the Student Government Associations. This is a rare university program that reaches out not only to the campus community, but the community at large. That's something that's really important to them.
I see WMUA as a radio station that's not commercially funded, that's not funded through advertising.
We do have underwriting.
A lot of it comes from local businesses. What we do is just kind of passively put their name out there.
It's a donation, not a purchase.
If you flip through the same stations over and over again, you'll probably hear the same songs 3 times a day.
I think commercial stations, and they have to do this, they program to the lowest common denominator to garner the largest audience. And we don't do that.
There's no big man behind the curtain giving us money to talk about certain things.
With commercial radio, it's like somebody who's a DJ doesn't pick what they play. But here somebody has the ability to care.
And so a commercial station generally stays homogeneous, and we do not.
Every week, make a playlist of songs that correlates to some sort of theme.
And then try to really explore the ways that can be engaged in conversation.
The vibe of our show, we try to have it be you're just hanging out with your friends, listening to music and talking about your week.
The first half of our show focuses on local news, news from the Pioneer Valley, from Amherst, and some stories from Massachusetts. Then we usually include a national story and then an international story.
For this semester, there are 98 shows, and most people have a co-host. Probably around 200 people are on air.
I wouldn't probably have graduated if I wouldn't have had college radio as something to lean on, as something that was sort of my focus and made me want to stay in school because it was something that I was involved in and I really cared about.
College radio was always something that I wanted to do because I have family who does radio. It also just seemed really fun. And as soon as I went to my first general body meeting, I kind of saw the vibe, and it seemed like a really awesome community to be a part of.
Originally I was just going to news, so I was really excited to just get on air as soon as possible. I don't know, I thought it was exciting, and I thought I like music a lot, and I thought people who like music would also be there.
Learning about music history, I learned sort of about Chaos FM and sort of the history of that station. Made me feel like, what could I do through college radio? So that's sort of why I decided to join WMUA.
The people there seemed very friendly, and then it just seemed like a group of people that I'd like to get to know better.
Last count, we're over about 300 active members.
I think that number's remained fairly constant over the years. The makeup has changed a bit. It's more student.
When I tell folks how many students are involved in our station, I think people are really impressed. There are a lot of other larger universities that don't have a radio station with the same impact that we do. That's all been built organically by students.
Like a really wide range of people who come into WMUA. There's a lot of people who are perceptually more like artistic and more into music, but there are also people who are really into UMass sports. I just heard a show where they were talking about fan fiction. I've heard shows where they read short stories on air. People do like live theater performances on air.
If you take a chance on this young ingenue, I'll slap some facts at you right on that page.
Per semester, 150 people get trained.
The DJ training process works really well in getting people from where I was in a place where I knew nothing to a place where I feel really confident behind the board. Being able to switch from CDs to the turntable to mics and everything. The way that WMUA helps you along with that works really well.
Sophomore year, I was the training director. That was really cool to watch people learn and get really excited about having their own radio show.
WMUA attracts a very specific kind of person. It's just really cool if that's like too simple, but
people really like being able to share the music that they listen to with other people. Also, having a radio show, you feel power. You're recommending people these songs.
Music has become a very personal thing. You learn about all these niche bands, all these different tastes, but when you come to something like WMUA, you can broadcast and share it with people actively.
People like coming in and working with the same people every weekend, meeting people and making friends, but I think that it sort of comes from having this place where you can create something.
As an advisor, sometimes you kind of have to tell students what to do, but I've never had to do that here. And so you all come up with the ideas and are doing all these things, and I'm just get to be able to help and kind of guide in that process.
I hope people don't think we're snobby about music.
My view was that everyone was very indie, and that's definitely true.
It's associated with people who like music and art, and I think that does have an image attached to it.
Our ability to connect with the broader Amherst and Pioneer Valley community is something really unique that doesn't exist anywhere else on this university campus.
We are looked at in a good light. There are dedicated listeners to WMUA because I do hear the request line ringing during programs here.
Whenever I talk to people or professors, they're like, yeah, I listen to it on my way to campus, when I'm in my car.
Pretty frequently people call in and will request a song or comment on something we said.
There was one guy who would call in and he would request a song to dedicate to I'm pretty sure it was his girlfriend. And so I'd be like, are you such and such? And they'd be like, yeah. And they're like, do you want me to stop calling? I'm like, no. That was fun.
My show's from 10 to midnight, so not quite prime time, but yeah, I definitely have friends who listen, and that feels really special.
We're trying to do a lot more with making art, trying to make a zine, and then merch.
A lot of the art and logos are designed by students. It's very personal in how we want to represent the station.
We're not really trying to make a ton of money off of it. We really are just trying to get it into the hands of the students.
And I think we do a really good job being at the farmers markets on Fridays and sharing that brand. It's also really cute. I have the cat sticker on my laptop. It's good stuff.
I'm always surprised when I see somebody walking around with a WMUA shirt that I know isn't a part of WMUA. I kind of have a mixed relationship with WMUA merch, if that makes any sense. It seems a little bit antithetical to our core as a non-commercial radio station. I think that we could offer creative, community-oriented kinds of fundraising. Especially people who are first joining the station, seeing WMUA. It's where the music people go. They put on shows, they have Battle of the Bands.
Every time we're able to, have a concert or a successful event, that makes me incredibly proud.
Some staple events have been the Battle of the Bands, which is music groups from the 5 colleges.
And selling that out and just seeing a room full of students who are having a great time. We do a lot of stuff here on campus and we get good numbers, but to be able to take it out into the community and see students supporting the work that we're doing was really fulfilling for me.
They're very exciting. You get to become some kind of like local legend if your band wins.
So the winner was Sapien Joyride.
Radio is still like the most widely accessed form of media. So many people still tune into. It's something that has the potential to really affect people's lives. Simply in its existence, it shows that like people still care about what's happening right down the street. So, yeah.
I am very lucky that I wake up in the morning and don't curse the day that I have to go to work. I like working with the students in the community and with the equipment. The equipment is very interesting to me.
One time we were talking about if we would want to read a book that had inscribed like every instance of our name being like spoken, and if we would like want to read that book. And my mom would listen and like texted in and was texting me and was like, it would say how many times like I love you.
So I interviewed a Lustig puppy, planned all these questions and stuff, and I was like super nervous, but then people liked the questions I asked. It's always great. There's always somebody to like aspire to somebody to be like, that's a good question. It's like
In the future of radio in general, again, is probably online. We're going to be doing things with like our live stream. Podcasting is something that we're going to see really expand.
Edit suites, these smaller studios that were incorporated into our move to the student union. Networking will allow these control studios to be integrated into the grand scheme of the whole audio layout here.
There will always be a place for college radio. There are a lot of people who are really dedicated to making sure that this thing stays afloat.
Having a leadership position, a lot of people come to you with their ideas, and I think it's really cool to watch people be excited about that.
just being able to see people come in week after week to do news and then seeing them grow. People come in also with zero experience, zero knowledge of what they can and can't do, and being able to stoke that, well, that's great.
I hope that we continue to thrive, that we get more and more people involved and want to be a part of the community that we have, and that we have more people that want to listen, because college radio is it's a beautiful thing.
So I also went to school part-time while I was chief engineer here to get my undergraduate degree. Working at UMass has been rewarding.
We'll get as many folks on the air as we possibly can, continuing to get people through training and just give them that opportunity.
Every semester we have more and more people coming in than people who are graduating. So I think it will be harder to have a radio show when there's only so much time in the day. People will be more interested in news, sports, podcasting, making art. The interests of the people in WMUA will broaden.
I'm interning over at the university's art museum, and I actually got that internship opportunity through WMUA. Of all things, I was doing an interview with the curator, and just in like the beginning, she's like, what do you study? And I'm like, studying art history. And she's like, oh, you should talk to this person, see what's up here. And I was like, oh, crazy. Like,
on the day-to-day basis, just having conversations with students and hearing what's going on and the ideas that they have, that makes me incredibly proud.
Being a part of WMUA has made me a friendlier person and has made it easier to talk to people that I don't know.
I like have a hard time, I think, like being like a leader at some points, and that's like something I've pushed into doing here, and it's really exciting.
WMUA sort of represents like an unwillingness to just roll over. People have a million other options. If we're not really pushing to be this incredibly unique, incredibly thought out programming, if that's not up in front with people that this is important, people can then just be like, I just want to watch football. Or it's like, I want to watch. As like a culture, we're sort of approaching this precipice where people will suddenly be like, I'm no way connected to what I'm spending so much time to. WMUA can suddenly show people like, it wasn't always like this.
And that'll do it for another episode of Up and Atom. Hope you enjoyed today's program as we went on a journey through history, community, and reputation. We here at the station got plenty more in the coming weeks, including a new podcast committee, more time slots, and the expansion of our X Stream, an online exclusive station. And by the way, some more merch just arrived. Enjoy the rest of your day, and remember to tune in to WMUA Amherst 91.1 FM.